talking to him, was there anything important that you guys um, learned from him?
So we
We learned that he's a
inter
dead. I'm sorry, I was gonna say we learned that he's a deadbeat dad in jail.
yeah, he's definitely in jail. We discussed how to break him out of jail. Um, Pretty much most of the conversation was confirming what we kind of already knew about my mom. And that he sort of led her on the path with Anihata without meaning to. We also learned that he's like really wants to get out of prison, which I mean, same, but we're also like concerned that he really wants to get out of prison. He has ambition. He has ambition. It's a little bit concerning. Um, and we still are kind of thinking about that. And then yeah, and then he went away.
Yeah, to be fair, he was more concerned about being trapped indefinitely than about like, hey, I got to get out by Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he was just a little Stella got a vibe from him when she insight checked him. I remember that part.
Yeah.
And it was
Um,
like, not the best.
and then you guys did learn some things about the other people on the stones.
Yes.
I know from my notes you guys were considering potentially seeking out one of them. You were potentially thinking of seeking out Hergeline the dwarf, because she was investigating some relics.
Yes.
Um, I know Roos had reached out to his brother on some potential avenues of pursuit, trying to get a audience with the council or getting some info from the wardens, getting some info from his brother.
Yes.
I think you did. You either asked someone or you used the mirror. There was something where you investigated Hildebrandus, because I remember bringing up some info related to him.
Yes. We did some investigating with Hildebrandus because Ice Rose saw him in a vision
Mhm.
in the mirror previously, and it seemed like he was fighting with the Celestials. And we were talking about how that battle might be more than just, us breaking James out of prison.
Yeah. I also I think it might have been a discussion with James, but you guys were investigating um, in some way Edorin and the tanks of clones.
Yes.
So you guys got some knowledge in that front.
And I think that's mostly it. And then we went back to town.
Yep. You got back to the city, and Roos did some sendings to his brother,
Yep.
and that was where we left it.
This is not an urgent request, but I do think that I believe there are dossiers that I have with information about some things.
Yes,
I
that
don't need
has.
them now, but as there, I figure I'll just add. So I just ask you when I'm interested in maybe
Yeah,
information.
I'm gonna put that back on my list that has been at the top of it. We, I believe, are through the busy season, so I should have more time to sit down and actually work on this stuff. I'm also finding that since I'm using my lunches to go for walks rather than sitting like a bump on a log working on D&D stuff, I need to set aside some daily time to work on things, because I'm definitely coming up short versus where I used to. So I definitely want to set aside some time to work on things, since I'm using my lunches in other ways now.
It's all good. I'm in no hurry to get them. I guess if you feel like at any point there is something that might be on those that could influence a specific situation in real time, let me know. I'm trying not to give away what my first request was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm not in a hurry, and so don't feel like you have to rush it. It's just if there's something that you feel like, oh, Bruce, you may know something about this or that specific person, because of your brother's research, then let me know.
You did learn some non-character knowledge this week. Probably a small percentage of that would be represented in the dossiers.
That's all. It's just if anything comes up that you're like, oh, Matt or Bruce should know this, then let me know.
Yeah. Yep.
Let me know. But that's all. Other than that, Bruce is content. His only objective right now, two objectives are getting the ring for Silas and charging that. So and I guess I could do that in character, and then I'll do both in character. What time is it? Is it the beginning of the day?
You had just messaged your brother at the end of the day, and you were at the point that you were starting to spend higher level slots. So I think you're running dry. If anyone would like to do anything that evening at the Paragon, you guys are welcome, or you are welcome to gain the benefits of a long rest.
Did we meet up with Sasha?
And
You
I actually, sorry,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I just wanted to send like notes to my mentor to see if I can like find out if there's like any information about James's other patrons, like if any of them are actually with the church or not.
How are you planning on sending them? Are you going to the temple that's here, or
No,
are
I
you?
have that book. Remember, the mentor is one of my
Oh
names.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
can
yeah,
just
yeah.
like sending at will to him.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so writing in your book, you would convey a message to him that he would hear in an auditory manner and speak back, which would write into your book. You could absolutely ask him that about if James has any other patrons within the church. And the answer would be a no, that you're his only student within the church. Or the clerics. I don't know if you would call that a church, but
Has he met any of the other students or like any of the other patrons? Like, has he ever met them just in his travels?
the students of other patrons or the
Or no,
students of James?
James's students.
That would be a
The
no.
3 names that I would send him.
If you send him those names, he could investigate further, but he wouldn't immediately react to any of those 3.
That's fair. I would just, be like, if you hear anything, just let me know.
Okay. Have you come up with a name for your mentor yet?
No, never come up.
Would you like me to, or would you like to eventually?
You can name it. It's fine.
Pristle.
Jeff with a G.
No.
That'd be so funny if Jeff with a G was Mara's mentor.
But the G is not where you think it is.
Oh my God. He's not perfect. You know that. He's a normal human.
Name him Dan with an H.
DAHN.
I actually love that. His name is Dan. Dan with an H.
Don.
Throw an umlaut over the A and call it a day.
Yeah.
Dan with an H, but it's spelled HAN.
No. I hate the English language.
It's Dan with an H, but the H grew tall.
We're taking it too far.
Da.
Dan with an H because whoever wrote his name on the birth certificate had bad handwriting.
Yeah. So his name became this.
or DHN. I think that's it. That should be canon.
I like DHN.
That's Dan.
All consonants, no vowels.
That is now Mara's mentor is Dan.
This is perfect.
Okay. Yeah, he'll reply back that he's not familiar with those three students. He doesn't believe they're clerics, but he will investigate to see if there's anything he can learn about them.
Thank you. That is all.
Is there anything about James that you would share with him that he might not otherwise know?
You know, I would actually ask what region he's in right now, because I feel like that's more of a face-to-face kind of conversation.
Yeah. Let me bring up the map to make sure I have the spread. World info. I love that every time I click on the map in Discord, it downloads it again in a new file with a new number in parentheses. And by I love it, I mean I don't love it. Okay. I'm going to roll a D100. I know how dangerous each of these areas are. If it's a low, he's going to be in a very dangerous area. If it's high, he's going to be in a safe area. Okay.
Turns out he was dead all along.
0. He's completely dead. Oh, I haven't named this place yet. He will convey that he's on the swamps on the west coast of the Hollow Lake. I need to come up with a name for this place now that it's come into play. This is also where I've decided that the one shot that Sarah ran, the association, that's where that took place.
Nice.
Okay.
So you would know that it is prone to a lot of organized crime, things like that. It is developed, but it's not fancy by any means. It's a very humble place. There's a lot of kind of working class people. The organized crime is kind of prevalent throughout. There's a lot of people living kind of in squalor, but there's a thriving middle class there. There's not really as much of the hoity-toity as you have down here in Prosperity's Rise. It's a more humble and whole. The environment is obviously swampy. There's not a lot of solid ground, a lot of kind of buildings that seem like they have to be rebuilt every 10 years or so. Not a lot that's permanent. A lot of kind of temporary construction. People who kind of come and just lay low for a while.
How far away?
It is honestly not that far away. Let me bring it up again. So if you were to you'd have to be going against the flow of the river, but you would get past the part that's flowing quickly relatively soon, and you'd be in the portion that it's more still. You could probably get through the the area that is moving quickly in about a week. And then it would probably be about another week of traveling by boat to get to where he's at. So it'd be about 2 weeks of travel. The first week would be more rigorous, and the last week would just be kind of casual. Not casual, but
And what
steady.
direction in 2 weeks?
Northeast.
Northeast. Okay, good. I will like mark it on like whatever. Just in case we head in that direction.
Okay. Yeah. Basically, think Louisiana. If you've watched True Detective, that's the landscape.
Gotcha. And then I also
I lost you after I will also.
Oh no, I was just saying I also wanted to talk to Sasha, but I'll wait until other people finish their stuff with her.
Okay. Yeah. Was someone else seeking out Sasha?
I just wanted to see if we checked in with her last session. I don't remember if we did or not.
I don't think you did, but knowing that you were planning on returning and you had released the Paragon, she would have moved back. So when you returned, she would retake that suite within the Paragon.
Okay.
When
Cool.
you guys are out of town, she takes another room within the Paragon, lower down, but just a small suite, not the penthouse where it's essentially the entire top floor.
So we essentially talked to Sasha the day before.
Yeah, because you guys had come back, and so I would say she's probably stayed there because you knew you were going to be returning tonight.
Okay. Cool. I will walk up to Sasha and say, "Hey, it feels like it's been a little while since we talked. Are you good? Are things with you good?"
Oh yeah, I'm just working on your there's the needle, there was the teeth. Oh, those have been exciting to work with. Not often you get to work with dragon's teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been keeping busy. It's nice to stay still for a little bit. I don't like to stay in one place for too long, but it's only been a couple weeks at this point. There's still lots to work on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keep your hands busy. So I have a weird question for you that I don't know if you can actually answer or not, and that's totally fine if you can't. So, in theory, if I was going to go fight a celestial being, what do you think would be the best thing to bring?
Well, you probably wouldn't want to use anything that is radiant in nature.
Yeah.
Force might be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, necrotic energy is typically hit and miss. Some of them are weak to it because it tears away at their nature, but others
Sure.
have uh, established resistances to it because it's what they come across the most often.
Mm.
Um, other elements, it's either they're probably going to be resistant to magic in general or not. Um, if you have something, so just like celestials in general, not a specific one.
Not a specific one.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be honest, I'm not very well versed in my celestials. Came from a small town,
Yeah.
yada yada. So do you think in general, if okay, let's say for example, I was going after like an archangel or angels like that aren't archangels but are regular angels, they normally fly, right?
Oh,
They,
Typically, we picture them as having wings, but they don't. I don't think they really need the wings. I've always
Sure.
pictured them coming from the skies. I know the heavens aren't in the skies, but that's what you picture all the time, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they don't have wings, I think they usually fly. Not entirely sure. So, I guess I was wondering if you think you can fashion something that I can throw and or use like an arrow to kind of like, from a distance, like a giant net.
Uh, like a net, or maybe like a what's that they use for hunting like really big fish and whales?
Like a harpoon?
A harpoon. Maybe a
Yeah,
harpoon?
yeah, something that's gonna help keep them more towards the ground, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, that could be possible. You already shoot arrows,
I do. So I'm
but
not really, I'm not really thinking of me here. I do have quite a bit of range. So, but, as someone who does have range, if theoretically we get into a fight like this, it's going to be better for everyone else if we can keep them towards the ground somehow.
yeah, there's a sliding scale there. Hunting traps are readily available, but uh, you have to get them to step in them, and you have to hide them in order to trick them to step into them. That might be kind of hard with an angel. Uh,
Yeah, well, okay, so there's a particular type of hunting trap that kind of involves like, it's not glue, but it's like something sticky, right? Could we like attach something like that to one of my arrows to like get it to make it so like if I shoot them, then it gets glue all over themselves and maybe makes it harder for them to fly?
oh, like the a sovereign glue.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
mean, I guess that would glue the arrow to them. They wouldn't be able to remove the arrow, but
I
they'd
guess
just be able to move.
this,
Yeah,
yeah, that's
it would,
not
it
really
would
what
have
I'm
to have
thinking
a
of.
tether.
It would probably have to be like a net or something similar,
Yeah.
or something that weighs them down, I guess.
Or
Hmm.
if you were able to stick them in a gelatinous cube.
I mean, if you were that magical that you could do that for me, that'd be
Uh,
great.
I don't know that I could create something that the gelatinous cube wouldn't just consume.
Yeah. Yeah, I would be
But
worried about
that would be
controlling. It would be awesome.
if you could befriend a gelatinous cube.
Uh, I wish.
Um, I I don't know how you'd talk to them. They don't have
They don't.
eyes or ears or
No. No, I fought one when I was a kid and, they just consume things and, I get it. I understand, but man, what an existence to not be able to communicate. Although I don't know, maybe gelatinous cubes communicate with each other somehow.
I
Never
mean,
thought of that.
how else would they reproduce? They've
That's true.
gotta be
Although
able to meet another gelatinous cube.
it's true, but I've only seen like one, maybe two, but they usually like live separately.
Yeah.
Weird. Anyway, I just want to pick your brain about that. I'm gonna think on it some more. I think a net is probably still the best idea, but like a net that I could like, I don't know, if I could attach it to an arrow and then it kind of like expands once I shoot it or something like that.
I'm maybe I could make a chain out of mithril, but making a
Mm,
net out of mithril would be hard.
that would be a lot. I
I've
wouldn't
never
ask you
seen
to
it
do that.
woven before. But
I
maybe
mean,
maybe a harpoon with a mithril chain? That could work.
yeah, something, something. I mean, I'm usually someone who's pretty light, do archery. But something where maybe it's a bit heavier, or I could, pass it off to someone else to like literally drag them down.
Well, the point about it being mithril is it wouldn't be heavy.
Oh my God, you're right. Sorry, we just spent so much time in the Feywild, and yes, no, that would be brilliant.
Hmm.
How
I'll
much
think
would?
on it.
Yeah.
If you can find some mithril, I might be able to build it for you. If I have to attain the mithril, that's gonna get
Well,
expensive.
well, what about this? I clink the mithril breastplate I have on my person.
Oh well, you're using that to protect yourself. Would you?
I mean, for this, it's kind of important, so I can probably find something else. But do you think something like this would be enough for what you're thinking of, or is it not enough?
She kind of reaches towards you and kind of like gets her fingers under it and tries to give it a little lift and a tug. Oh, yeah, that's quite a bit of mithril. Yeah, I could make a good length chain out of that. Uh, it would be really easy to punch it out, but there would be a lot of waste. I think I could smelt it down and cast it, but it wouldn't be very strong. I think I'd need to like make a billet and then forge it into a rod and then make links. That would take a little longer, but yeah, that would get a good result.
Okay. And how much should I pay you for your time, do you
Oh,
think?
no, I'm. You guys are putting me up here in accommodations and have invested a lot here. I'm happy to do this to help what you're working on. But you got to find something to protect yourself.
Well,
Um,
yeah, we're
to
back
make
in
make
town
it worth
now.
it.
So I will keep this just for a second until I get something else. And then once I have something else, hand this over and then we can make that fun thing.
Yeah, yeah. I'll start drawing up some plans, figuring out what I need to make this. But
Great. Good. Thank you. And then Stella will probably go drink at the bar after that conversation.
um, yeah, if you were not already drinking at the bar, I think being the end of the day, Sasha would come with you,
Great.
unless it's awkward.
No, she's totally fine with it. She was just like, "Oh, are you like?" Because Sasha seemed to like really be into thinking about it, and she's like, "Oh, well, if you're not doing anything, I'm gonna go drink at the bar now."
Well, it is evening now.
It's true. So they will drink, and Stella will be thinking about where she's going to go tomorrow to find new armor.
Okay. All right. What's everyone else up to tonight? Or are we waiting till the morning?
I'm just
Uh,
gonna. Oh, sorry.
sorry, if Sasha's drinking at the bar, I would just check in with her to see how the key business is doing, or the fork business. Tuning
Tuning
fork.
fork. Um, you put some money out there to get the materials for it. Wait, I I'm taking a look at this because
It might be too soon. I think we just talked about this like in game time yesterday.
yeah, we talked about it in-game time yesterday, and you had taken something off the table. I'm looking for the notes.
No, that was when I tried to swap for a better Rod of the Pact Keeper.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I didn't go through with any of that deal. But Sasha's, I still would have given her money to. Actually, we all kind of gave her money to work on sourcing the materials needed for the tuning fork.
Yeah. Yeah, there would not be progress on that yet at this point. It's only been a day.
I'm sorry, what was that?
There would not be progress on that at this point. It's only been a day.
That's fine.
She would be like, "Yeah, I started putting out feelers to people. I haven't heard any back from anyone. This might take some time. They've got to, they probably wouldn't have it here in the city. They'd have to reach out to other places and, negotiate a price, and they have to transport it back here. It's a whole thing."
That makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, there's been trouble in the logistics industry lately.
Cackling.
Isn't there always trouble in the logistics industry?
It sounds like there might be a strike on Friday, and that's going to be a whole mess for everyone.
You know what? Good for them. Good for them.
We are on workers' sides. But also, it can be inconvenient and we're about it at the same time. Both things can exist.
Sorry, I'm just catching up on the chat. Okay. Anything else tonight, or are you skipping to the morning?
Roos would just approach Silas and say, Silas, are we checking in tomorrow for the ring?
Yeah, we can check tomorrow, or we could check right now, actually.
Well, we can wait. I don't think they'd be open. I just, in my old age, sometimes I forget. I don't remember what they told us to check, so I thought maybe we could check in tomorrow. I'm anxious to get it charged for you. I don't know how long that process takes. I'll do some research into that, and I hope that it gets you what you're looking for.
Was that not something that we could do on the go?
Oh, charging? Yeah, I'm sure I can charge it on the go. I just don't know if I have to attune to it and all of that. I'll do some research and um, just to be prepared for when we do have it.
So, with what knowledge you would have about the spell storing ring, you would know that you don't have to be attuned to it to charge it. That's kind of the point of it, is someone else can be the bearer of it, and another person can put charges into it while the other person is the bearer of it. So that would kind of defeat the purpose if you had to exchange attunement.
Ah, good to know. I'll pretend that I find that out later in the evening.
Yeah. But for this is just to make sure we're on the same page. Silas put up his breastplate for this as collateral for the potential exchange, right? That's what. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. So that was with Inquisitor Amelin, or Master Inquisitor Amelin now. So if you really wanted to contact him in the middle of the night, you could have Mara blow that whistle, but otherwise, you would assume it's probably a little after hours to head over to the Warden's HQ right now.
I see.
It turns out, actually, my brother did. I spoke with him, and he's also directed us to the Wardens to discuss what we learned in the Feywild. So, perhaps others will want to go with us tomorrow to have the conversations we're needing to have, as well as checking in on the ring.
Sounds like a plan. I hope they made progress.
I hope so as well. I'm looking forward to, I hope, a good resolution to your search.
Is there anything that I can do for you for helping me? You've been so helpful.
No, I mean, no, not nothing of sorts. It's part of what I like to help people. If something comes up where I either need your help or where you notice I might need some help, then maybe you can return the favor. But there's no need to return it. I don't do good things for anything in return. I do them because if it's in my capacity to offer help, I will offer help. But the fact that you ask that tells me a lot about the sort of person you are, and I appreciate that, and I do get a good sense for your character.
I do appreciate the help. It's given me much to hope on. Something a bit more tangible than this stupid mirror.
Yes, well, of course, there's no guarantees, and even you know, it's not guaranteed to work, and um, but we will it will work, but it's not guaranteed to get us a response. There's a lot can there as we said, there's things that can go wrong if who you're trying to contact is in a different plane, or with we have other people talk caught in a time spell, perhaps there might be reasons if we don't get a response. But I'm getting ahead of ourselves. Let's hope for the best and work toward that.
I agree. Hopefully we'll get on the move at some point. I will see tomorrow.
Actually, there is one thing. Um, I just realized you seem to be good with animals, and I'm trying to get this chicken of mine to socialize a bit better. So perhaps just when you can see if you can you know uh, maybe teach or instruct or socialize with the chicken. Um, I feel like there's something special about it, and I know it's silly and it's but just that's it's silly and it's simple, but it's really the only thing I can think of that I would want right now.
I wouldn't say that I'm good with animals per se. It's more towards horses. But, I mean, they may share certain aspects that might help. I don't think the training that I put Wrath and the other horses at my stables would suit your chicken, if that's what I'm presuming that you want done.
Maybe, but more, I guess, just socializing with it might be enough. And if you try anything that might help train it, then great. And but I expect no results. Just asking that maybe you if you have interactions near it or with it, see if anything comes of it. That's all. It's just a
Is he
simple.
here with us by chance?
Oh
Or
yes, Nugget is he's in the room. I can he's in the room over there.
yeah, let me see it. And Silas will go into the room with Roos.
Dan, what is Nugget doing? I maybe okay. So I drew a circle on the ground and put Nugget inside of the circle and put food outside of the circle before I left the room.
It just headed straight to the food and ate all the food. It
Well,
is
that
not a cat.
did not seem to work well. Perhaps I went about that one the wrong way.
So the infamous chicken nugget.
Yes.
Silas will bend down and look at it. Is it doing anything?
It's just kind of looking around, walks, kind of jockeys its head back and forth, looks over at you. Caw. I don't know if they don't make a caw. A squawk.
Fuck.
Squawk. And looks away, walks away, bobbing its head the entire way, just kind of looking around.
Hmm. I think I see your problem here.
Oh, yes. What is that?
It's a chicken.
Ah, oh, yes. I guess I am maybe aiming a bit too high. Something tells me that this chicken has potential that most chickens don't. I don't know what it is.
It's
Perhaps
like,
I'm in my old age.
I think what you're trying to do is the equivalent of trying to teach a goldfish how to fight. And I don't think that's necessarily possible. But I've seen stranger things, so you may prove me wrong.
Nothing against. But yes, indeed. And again, I expect no results. Just humoring an old elephant. If nothing else. It's probably just a normal chicken. I have a strange sense, and again, I might just be getting senile in my old age. It does happen to us eventually. But I appreciate you taking a look.
What may work, though, is encouraging with food. Do certain patterns and stick to those patterns.
I will.
Slowly progress. So let's say you want Nugget to hop. Well, put a piece of food right in front of it, and when he does hop, encourage it and do it again and repeat it as much as you can. This is how I trained Wrath to do many of the tricks that he knows.
Well, I will.
Start small. It's not going to wield a sword any day now.
I will think on what simple thing I can get it to do. Thank you. It is good advice.
Teach it to squawk at the right moment.
Ah, the classic speak, as it were.
Yep.
Interesting.
And then once you do that, you can branch off and do something a little bit more complicated, like squawk if you're hungry.
Mhm. Roos will hold out a crushed up piece of nut, out slightly out of Nugget's reach. Nugget, speak.
It
Speak.
will walk towards you.
Mhm.
It will start going for the food.
I'll lift it up out of its reach more.
Roll an animal handling.
Uh-oh. Ah, not bad.
Squawk.
Oh, yes, good. Well done, Nugget. One for one. Ah, well, thank you, Silas. That seemed to work. Oh, well, I'm not.
Gotta give her some food right now.
Oh, here you go. There you go. There's more food for you. I feel this could backfire very quickly.
It will take it.
All right. Uh, no, Nugget. No, not now. I wave my hand in a left to right. Like a no.
Remember, keep to the
Ro-
patterns.
roll an animal handling.
Okay. Ooh.
Maintain a pattern.
Squawk!
All right. Well,
Give it a piece of food.
there you are. Here's another piece of food. I'm gonna end up with one fat chicken.
It will take it.
All right. There's another one.
Squawk!
Okay. Here's another one.
And sir, this is how you train an elephant.
It will take it. Look up at you. Squawk!
Well, here's another one. I feel like this is going to be a very long process. At what point do I say no?
When you're ready.
Ah,
Or when he dies of diabetes.
all right.
I guess it's not
What?
diabetes, but
Wait, hold
it's
on.
not sugary.
Is there a chicken epidemic with diabetes that I don't know about?
Bird flu.
The most morbid moment of this campaign is chicken diabetes epidemic.
No.
Right, Bruce will continue to feed the chicken every time it squawks.
It will continue to squawk as long as you're just sitting there feeding it.
It will go on for a while then, and that will be how Roos ends his. Eventually, Roos either nods to sleep or runs out of food. I'm not going to crunch up more. I'm not going to make more. Like what I have in my hand is all I am going to offer.
Remember,
It
there
will
needs to
continue.
be discipline in this as well. There's a fine line, and you need to find that.
Ah, I have an idea then. Uh, I will hold up a piece of food out of its reach. I will then, Roos will go and eat the piece himself, and then get up and walk away. That's all.
It'll follow you as long as it can. I love this chicken in the GIF, not the bow staff fighting one, the one that's pecking at the rock. It's so derpy.
Oh, it's Hey Hey from Moana.
It will follow you. Eventually, it will give up. Um, I'm thinking that like it will sit by your bed, and every once in a while, it will try to gain your attention. I'm also just thinking of Pee Wee. I've gotten to the point where I've never been able to get out of bed on my first alarm, but now I've started getting out of bed on my first alarm and giving him his food and then going back to bed. And if I sleep through that first alarm, he like gets up next to me and he'll like smack me on the face to get me out of bed. Um,
It's a gif of that. I'm going to find it.
that's the road this chicken is going down.
And that's when the trainer becomes the trainee.
He does not dance on my face, but he will get up to where my neck starts and sit down, and he will basically be sitting on my face.
Yep. The cat morning call.
But honestly, I appreciate it because I have a really hard time getting out of bed in the morning. So when Pee Wee holds me to task, like that just makes me
Same.
better.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like having a partner who's like, babe, you gotta go to work. All right. Anything else for the night?
I'm good.
Silas is good.
Squaw! Okay, you guys can gain the benefits of a long rest. What are you all up to in the morning?
Armor. I'm gonna go shopping.
Nice. Where are you going shopping?
Um, I don't remember if Stella really explored this town before, but if she hasn't, she's gonna ask Sasha if she knows some places that would be like selling like pre-made armor that she can go hit up in town.
Okay. So you would know from the stories that I can't remember, did Ice go down there as well? But definitely Naya did, went to the city beneath the city. That there's definitely a whole underground life going on in this city. But you would also know, and Sasha would point out that, yeah, out by the barracks past the longhouse, there's a military barracks. There's a whole training center there. The warehousing district, right next to the military barracks and encampment. Yeah, there's an armory that sells to um, both everyone stationed there and the general public, and mercenaries who come in on the ships and guard them. They sell armor, weapons, things like that. Um, it's typically pretty commonplace stuff. Arms and armor for general populations. If you want something in particular, I could connect you with some merchants here in the old city area town, or maybe with like an importer. Um,
I mean, I don't want anything like I have to import, but who's gonna have the best variety, I guess.
uh, Best variety would be the armory there. They're gonna have everything and anything, but I mean, it's not gonna be the best quality. But if you want like a specific type of armor, yeah, they'll have it. They'll have you covered. But if you want something nice, you'll have to look around, and yeah, inventory will be a little more limited, but you can find something nice.
Okay. Well, I will start there and then I'll look around.
Okay. Heading to the armory, you can find anything on the like the inventory page. What's it called? I think it's just called equipment from the player's handbook.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Anything that's on there, you'd be able to find for its standard gold price. So if you want just a generic breastplate, you can get a generic breastplate there.
I think I want something a little more unique. So I'll probably go there and be like, okay, arms and armor. I don't know much about this town, but if there's this big armory right here, this is probably where I should start to look for more niche things.
There are dozens of short swords, dozens of daggers, dozens of pieces of leather armor, dozens of breastplates. There's a lot of everything, because they're equipped to equip a lot of people.
Okay.
Very much commodification of arms and armor.
Is there a shop that seems more geared towards like, lighter armor or something that's like not just leather, but something that's more geared to someone who needs to like move a little bit more swiftly?
Yeah. Um, so even something like a brigandine would be based off cloth, which would be sewing. Um, so you'd be able to find rather than a blacksmith, you'd be able to find kind of I'm trying to think of what the name of it would be, other than just an armorer, but um,
like a tenor?
Not a tanner, but he's not just leather. But you'd be able to find someone who specializes in light and medium armor. Um, if you wanted a breastplate, you'd probably be going to like someone who specializes in metalworking, someone like Sasha. Um, but if you're looking for something lighter, there would definitely be someone who, in a city like this, it would probably be billed kind of as, I want to use the modern day term of executive protection, something that's like, you know, concealable, light and nimble, uh, body
Yeah.
armor.
I think the only reason I can wear a breastplate is because it's mithril. And it's considered,
You,
is it
a-
always considered medium? I
Yeah,
don't remember.
as a ranger, a breastplate is considered medium.
Excellent.
A breastplate is the highest you can wear without disadvantage on stealth, but you could
Right.
get potentially half plate, which would have disadvantage on stealth, but would still be medium armor. Um,
Mhm.
Honestly, I don't think half plate is ever worth it unless it's,
No.
what is it? There's one of them that doesn't give disadvantage on stealth. It might actually be mithril. You'd have to get mithril half plate, which would be even more mithril. And the thing is, you're trying to get mithril out of your
Yeah,
armor.
it's true. The interesting thing is because I have the boots of elven kind,
Hmm.
it gives me advantage on stealth. So technically, if I had a half plate, like it would just be a straight roll.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if that's technically worth it.
Right.
You
Right.
know?
The other thing is, I think at this point in time, you've maxed out your decks. So you
Yeah.
could probably have a higher AC with a nice leather armor than
Mhm.
with medium armor because you've got that dex modifier. With medium armor, I think you're limited to a +2, whereas with light, I think you're able to use your full dex mod. You could correct me if I'm wrong on that, but
I
that
think
might
it
be something you want.
depends on the type of armor.
Yeah. You might want to look into that between sessions on if you want to be looking for another breastplate or for like a high-end studded leather armor.
Mhm.
I
Okay, I just
I
looked it up. So
yeah,
it's 12 plus dex modifier. So for studded leather,
yeah.
that will get me where I want to be. So I think I'm going to look for a studded leather. We don't
Okay.
have to play it out, but
Yeah,
you can tell me the cost later. That's totally fine.
yeah, just a generic studded leather you would not have a problem getting. You could even get it at that armor there. If you want
Perfect.
something nicer than studded leather, um let's see. Like if you want like a +1 or
So,
something, you'd have to invest a little bit more, or you could potentially, try to have something made for you.
so okay, looking at this chart, uh, medium leather, I could get a chain shirt, which is 13 plus my dex without the disadvantage.
Chain shirt, I doesn't that have disadvantage?
According to this chart on Roll20, it does
Oh,
not.
I am looking for equipment, armor and shields. Uh, Chain shirt does not have disadvantage. It's 13 plus dex. Studded leather is 12 plus dex. So yeah, you could get a chain shirt.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
that is
A
considerably cheaper than a breastplate.
a
So
1000%.
yeah. So the thing is, that's max 2. What's your dex modifier?
My max, or sorry, my dex is +4,
Okay.
18.
So with a +4, with a chain shirt, you'd have 15. With studded leather, you'd have 16 because there's no
Okay.
cap on the dex mod. So
Right.
that's why you'd want to go for studded leather.
Okay. Thank you for re-explaining it to me. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, plus 13. Sorry, went overboard. All right.
Ye-
Yes, I will
ye-
still go for stud leather.
Yeah. So, studded leather, you could get a generic set of studded leather for 45 gold pieces, no problem. All
Okay,
day, every day.
done. I will do that.
So that's interesting. Studded leather and breastplate are the same value for you, as far as your AC goes.
Yes. I don't know quite how, I don't remember how I even got the mithril plate, to
That
be
was from
honest.
one of the arena fights. It was one of the sponsorships.
Right. Okay. Cool. So
Yeah.
I'm going to add stud leather to my inventory and I'm going to take my mithril breastplate off. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to give that to Sasha to make the weapon. And then can I roll a sleight of hand check? I want to try to give her money.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not very good at this, so we're gonna try. Okay, that's decent.
You have high decks. Um, so where are you trying to put it?
So since she's back in the penthouse, I assumed that she has some sort of like bag that she's brought.
Yeah, and she has a room to herself as well.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to like sneak into her room and place the money in her bag.
Yeah, that's no problem. You're not trying to like sneak it to like into a place on her person. So
Yes.
that's not too difficult of a DC. If you were like to try to like reach into her pocket or something and sneak it in there, like that would be a different story. But no, yeah,
Yes.
that's fine. Totally
So I'm
fine.
gonna give her 10 platinum.
Okay.
Put her in her bag. Good. I'm
She
just
will
gonna
not
sneak away.
know where it came from or what it's for.
Wow, this platinum is just here now. And then at the end of the day, I will give her my mithril breastplate. And that's pretty much it for me.
Okay. Um let's see, how long would that take? I would say that would take 3 weeks from now. Ice, if you'd be able to put that on your calendar.
Sorry, what am I putting on my calendar?
3 weeks from where you're at today, completion of a mithril harpoon.
Mithril harpoon. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
All right. It has been done.
Woohoo.
You know, I have something to do the next day.
Okay.
I would actually go back to my church, and instead of doing my own witness, I would actually sit there basically all day listening to everyone else's witnesses, whoever decides to come through. And I'm just looking for anything that reminds me of some of the dimension hopping stories that we've already been doing, like anything that's like sounds similar to like either the nightmare realm that we encountered or portals in basements, or like if anybody is seeing anything else like we have.
Okay. I'm going to roll some D100s and I'm going to roll a few of them because there will be a number of people giving witness. So,
Totally fair.
uh, roll 20 thinks I'm spamming too much. Let's do one more. Okay, you sit there through 10 people giving witness, and none of them have anything that really sounds like what you're looking for. Oh wow, they're still coming through. Okay, you sit through 14 of them. You sit through 10, nothing seems like it's what you're looking for. You sit through another 4 and still nothing.
I was really tired. Does anybody, because I've made several witnesses at this location about what I've seen, does anybody during my time at the church approach me about it or look like they might want to have a conversation with me or any, like, does anyone, like, during, you know, the, where we all break to go have lunch together or whatever, does anyone bring anything up?
So I think they've stopped coming through. The first 14, none of them seems like has anything to do with the supernatural, with extraplanar. There's people talking about bandits. There's people talking about, um, different guilds that they've encountered, people that they've rescued from bad situations. They've got them out on the road and they're freer there. They're um, finally coming into their own. They're making their way to different parts of the world that they never would have imagined. Their families have lived in the same 10 square miles for 100 years, and finally they're breaching out. The 15th, the last one to speak for the day, comes up. And let's roll one more thing. And they tell a story about how they were traveling through a town and it had been just one of these little agrarian towns, the same families living there for generations. Nothing eventful happening. And then all of a sudden, the cemetery there, where dozens of generations of the same few families had been buried, generation after generation, started coming alive, started raising from the ground. They were just completely overwhelmed. There was one group that was the last few to make it out of the town. Everyone else was lost. They go through the details and it was horrific. And they took these people in and they got them away as quickly as possible. They didn't want to go back to see what might be left, might be salvageable if the situation could be contained. They just wanted to get as far away from there as possible. They took them a few hundred miles and eventually they hit the water and they wanted to go one way. The cleric had another way to go with those they were also protecting. And the family wandered off into the wilderness.
That is a hell.
We lost most of you there. And I think we lost you entirely.
No, sorry, I actually walked away from the Wi-Fi I was using. I just switched to cell service.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I was just gonna say that's a hell of a story. Did they mention exactly where this town was?
So this would be on the southern portion of the continent, which you don't know much about, other than that's where Ice Rose had come from, where you first encountered her.
Fuck you. Really?
Oh. we had a good time together back that first time, Ice Rose. Don't say that. Hurts my feelings. Um, so I'm just trying to get together in my head what they were talking about. So the family walked off to the port. Is this the family from the graveyard? The ghost family?
So the family who lived in that agrarian town, where the graveyard essentially came to life, um, they just wanted to get the fuck away from there as quick as possible. And this particular cleric helped them do that.
Does
And they
the
traveled with them
graveyard
for a few
coming?
hundred miles.
Okay, okay. So does that graveyard coming to life, is that at all similar to that first graveyard that we experienced way back, like, session 4? Or is it more similar to like nightmares coming out at Darwinia?
Neither. This
Can
is
I roll an Arcana while he's telling the story? Can I roll an Arcana to see like what I'm hearing?
Yeah, let's see. Bring up the right tab. I'll just roll a d20 for you. I know your arcana is good. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a plus 7 or something.
Yeah, so you're over 20 easily with that. Um this doesn't seem like the nightmares. Um or the dreams. The nightmares were actually the horses. um it doesn't seem like what you encountered in that tomb, because that tomb was kind of a single ancient thing that was inhabiting it, or a very limited set. This was something much more massive. This almost seems more in line with what you encountered in the area that Edorin was inhabiting. Kind of a almost massive animated army of the dead.
Interesting. I would try to, after the witnesses are done and, church breaks again for our little communal whatevers, I would try to find that person who told that story and inquire more about it.
Okay. They were the last one to speak. It's funny because I meant to roll the die 10 times, but then it stalled and I kept rolling, and it was on the 15th time, the
It
last
actually
time that
makes
it
sense for the
rolled.
character because I would stay for like just a few more times, like maybe the next story, maybe the next story. Like I have all day, maybe the next story.
It also makes sense because it's probably like everyone's telling these mundane stories and they're waiting until the very end and they're like, no one's gonna believe this shit. And so it's like
I mean,
when
that's
it's
what I do with my stories too. I'm usually the last one to go up with my insane shit.
yeah, so it's like at the very end where like 80% of the people, they have come and they've fulfilled their duty and they've made their witness and then they've left. And it's just you and a couple others sitting around. And that's what the electronic dice have dictated. So it's on that last one, the 15th one, when they're like, okay, anyone? 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 All right, I guess we're gonna call it. And then sheepishly a hand goes up. It's that very last one of the day that tells this horrific story. So yeah, at the end of it, it would not be hard for you to track them down and pull them aside.
Yeah, so I'm like, hi, I'm Mara. Um, are you new to this branch?
um I've not stopped here in Prosperity's Rise before. um i've I've been wandering for a while, but this is my first time making witness here.
I actually would like to know more about your witness, actually. It's quite unique. Um,
it
can
it,
you
it, it that's what they told me. As far as I know, that's all true.
Were you that you witnessed all this like with your own eyeballs, or are you witnessing a story told to you?
I saw a few of them, but the scale they told of hundreds, like they would they were booking it in the opposite direction. I saw a few, but I don't have
So
reason.
you came across them and you helped them out, and that was your participation?
Yeah, yeah. I helped them get away. Otherwise, um, I don't know. They were just gonna run off into any random direction they could to get away from there.
If you don't mind me asking, what's your school of study? What are you good at? What's your thing?
Well, I know the roads. I know how to navigate them. I make some pretty good food, I think. Um,
Are you more of like are you more of like an entertainer, or do you like have some spell knowledge? Like did you get a good enough look to maybe I don't know if I don't know exactly what you might have studied before, but could you kind of narrow down exactly the type of creature you encountered?
well,
Or would it be guessing?
I imagine they were undead. I mean, they were dead, and then they were no longer dead.
Yeah, there's a slight difference between undead and spectrals. Were they solid? Were they physical?
Uh, the couple I saw, yeah, it was like
They moved branches
bones,
when they walked
rotting
past them. They didn't just
flesh.
go through them.
No,
It wasn't like an illusion.
it was like, and like they hold up their arms like a zombie and like cock their head to the side and stick the tongue out the side of their mouth.
That's pretty much what undead look like in D&D world, right?
Yeah,
Okay, but like did you actually see them physically interact with the world, or did you just see them?
yeah, I
Like, did
saw.
they move a branch or kick a rock or anything physical?
Yeah, like they were there, but like not like you and I are here. Like,
I'm not talking about consciously. I'm just talking about materially. Like
yeah,
they
yeah,
were
yeah.
bone. They weren't just an illusion, correct?
Right, yeah.
Okay. That's very good knowledge. I've been traveling with some people myself. This is actually my first wander. It's gone on a little bit more than a year now. Um, we've been encountering a lot of things from a lot of different, basically the edges of magic where things get strange, but it's not one type of strange. It's all types of strange, and it's all getting kind of frayed at the edges. So are you staying in town for a couple days, or do you have a place? Are you hitting the road tomorrow? Like, what's your plans, just in case? Like, because this is the first time I've heard of something that I've also seen. Um,
You were there too?
no, not this, but I've
Uh,
also seen. Um, you know, I interacted with a high level necromancer, and I saw how his undead worked. And I've also dealt with gods of other realms attempting to breach this realm. And sometimes they use illusion magic, sometimes they can use possession magic. A few of them, like, it's not quite sure, like, they might have access to necromancy, but that's more of a material plane thing, which is
so
actually good.
as you're rattling off, you're like, "Oh yeah, I've messed with one of them before. Yeah, a high level necromancer." And like every time they're like trying to speak up and they're just like getting hit by this wave of bewilderment, and they're like, "Oh yeah, gods of other planes and things like that." And you can just see their eyes are like opening wide and they're just like,
Phased over.
yeah, they're like, "What?" Like they don't know, like they had a hard time getting anyone to believe the story they were telling, because it's like, oh, you saw one or two or whatever, and like no one really like believed them. Like, oh no, there couldn't be hundreds of these things. And now you're like, yeah, yeah, we saw a high level necromancer, yeah, we interacted with gods, and they're just like, what the fuck?
Like, boy, I believe you. I believe your story. And if you have things that you need to do on your journey and on your road that lead you elsewhere, I wish you all of the luck. If you would like to join me on my brand new road that hasn't been mapped yet, but I promise you it's a road of some sort. We might be able to use a little bit of your knowledge. But it's way up to you because this is something that I think is way above my own pay grade. So it's okay if you don't want to get involved, like no pressure. But I just want to say, like, I believe your story.
Necromancers and gods, and you don't think you can? I don't. Um. I mean, if
Well,
you
it's
have
not that I can't handle it. I'm just saying it's above my pay grade. Like, I'm pretty sure that I think we actually have a good almost handle on things, but it's just there's no gold or glory in any of this. It's going to be bushwhacking the entire way through.
if you have questions, I'll try to help you out. But I, I that that's a
Mara
different
just like
level.
pats him on the shoulder because she can see his brain exploded. She pats him on the shoulder like, you know what? Don't worry about it. You've been a lot of help. If perhaps I want to send a sending out to you, do you have maybe a trinket that my sorcerer can use to get in touch with you? And then Mara will actually reach into her pocket and pull out, she's actually going to pull out the battle token from Thorgrim from our first pit fight and give it and reach out to him and say, this is a personal item of mine that you can use to assist with sending. Because I know that if you have an item, somebody with sending can, like, it's not completely fucked on the roll.
Oh, I can't sending, but okay.
Well, I know that even if you can't, if you have something of mine, then anyone else who has sending has a better chance of being able to contact me through this item because I've carried it this entire year and this is mine.
Okay.
And it's my calling card. So if you have like a token that you've carried on you for like a year, then even though my sorcerer, that even though he's never met you, he can attempt a sending spell if we decide if we want to reach out to you or have any questions, or if you want to reach out to me. Because if you see anything else that's like crazy and weird, and you can like get a hold of a spell of sending, like this token will help you facilitate that communication.
Okay. Uh. I they'll start rooting through their bag and pull out an old key. I I I never figured out what this went to. I held on to it, but I mean, anywhere it might go is hundreds of miles away. I've had this for a while.
Mysteries are a very strong magic. That will work perfectly. And also, I say that as a complete bullshit note, but Mara has superstitions. But also, having personal items does actually help with sending. So this is not complete bullshit.
I'm not 100% that it works with sending. I know it works with scrying. But if you're confident it works with sending, that is Mara's interpretation.
Same fucking thing. I'll figure out a way to contact the guy through it. Even if I have to make a deal with a demon. I mean, sorry, don't tell Ice Rose I said that. But yeah, basically, and then at that point, I would kind of like offer him a drink and lunch, because he looks quite frazzled. But I wouldn't press him further on that stuff. And I just kind of want to add that to my contact Rolodex.
Okay.
For now, and that is it.
I was seeing you adding this person to the party with the 3 goblins and Jim the bartender.
You know what? Actually, if those goblins are still in town and they also want to get a drink, I would introduce him to those goblins because they're all members of the church together.
Yeah.
And they're all about the same level. So I actually would reach out to the goblins if they're still in town and try to hook all them up. I'm I'm literally starting my own follower base right now. I'm trying to get to that. I'm trying to like actually make, you know how you mentioned like we could just become paragons of our own and like make a second generation. This is me meta saying I am starting that second generation.
Yep.
And yeah, that would be Mara's entire day.
Okay. Yeah, that absolutely sitting through all those witnesses and speaking with them and reconnecting with the what would we call that? The new followers or the followers of the new road, the clerics of the new road.
Oh my god, I
Oh, I
love
kind
that
of
so
like
much.
that.
Hells yes. No, that's so good.
Stop encouraging this cult. Hold on. I need t-shirts though.
I think the clerics of the new road has to be our next campaign.
I think that's 100% what it needs to be. I joined the Clerics of the New Road and all I got was this stupid t-shirt. I'm just saying.
Oh my god, the clerics of the new road. I love it. I love it. So I need to name this person, but then we have Jim the bartender and 3 goblins so far.
Is Nugget their captain?
I think Nugget has a different path unless it diverges.
Like a road.
All right, Silas, what are you up to?
What time is it?
So stuff has been going on throughout the day, but you have the entire day to do with what you please. We took a long rest. Dawn has passed.
Before that, I want to check with Inquisitor Amelin to see if he has an update.
Okay.
I would ask Bruce first if he wants to tag along, but I'm okay with going alone. So I would find Roos, wherever he is, and ask Roos. I think it's time. You want to go check?
Let's go. Watch this. I will walk into the room and take out a piece of food and hold it up to Nugget.
Are you holding it away from it or like right
Yeah,
to it?
like to oh wait, and then does Nugget make any noises?
Roll an animal handling.
Okay.
It will just walk up and try to take the food out of your hand.
Ah, Nugget, speak. Do I have to roll animal handling again?
Yep, roll it again. It will cock its head to the side. It will jockey it side to side and go in a little more aggressively this time.
Okay. Nugget, speak. Uh,
Are you?
Squawk! Yes, there we go. Good job, Nugget. All right, let's leave before it squawks again. Go, 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 go. And then I will walk out the door and close the door behind me, making sure Nugget does not escape.
It's still chewing, and you're able to make it out the door.
Yes, perfect. All right. I spent all night working on that. I did not sleep much.
Or I guess chickens don't really chew, but it kind of like working it down its gullet.
Yep.
And I don't know if they have a gullet, if that's an actual thing, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you guys head into the Wardens?
Yes, please.
Okay. It's not too far to the Wardens. You're both in the same corner of town. Not really a corner, but so to speak. You knock on the door, you see Snow Blossom outside, tied up to the hitching post. Um, Inquisitor Amelin will answer. Ah, hello, welcome.
Yes,
Hello.
we're here to see if you have an update um on that ring of spell storing.
Oh, it's only been a couple days. I haven't heard anything so far. I do know that the caravan has just packed up and is moving to a new city. So, in a couple days, they should set up a new camp and start making new contacts. That will give them the opportunity to potentially encounter some new items. It might take them a few days, but if they make a good contact, the news could be good soon. Or it might be a couple weeks before they encounter another city again.
I see. That's disappointing.
But these things take time. I know you're eager, but uh, we're doing what we can.
Well, since we're here, I thought I'd ask, when would you know, uh, for us to take the next steps in ranking up within the wardens
Oh,
or Voidwalker?
your Voidwalker training. Well, the most important thing is mastering the skills that you have at hand now. So I would make sure that you're practicing on the regular, and you'll need to make sure you employ them in situations where it's stressful and you have to act reactively and it becomes second nature. You can either, manufacture those sorts of situations through rigorous training, or um, seeking out situations where you might be put under pressure.
I would say that's easier said than done, but okay.
I mean, worst case scenario, you could just try to fight a dozen men at the same time.
I don't think
He-
there's anybody here that's strong enough to do that, I would say. But that's an idea. I'm not a person that goes out seeking trouble. You understand?
so he said that with a little bit of a laugh and chuckle in his voice. He was mainly being sarcastic in that.
That totally went over Silas's head.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't seek out that route. I'd try to pursue your goals further, and situations will arise where your abilities are necessary.
Okay. Well, then not much else. We don't need to be here and pester you much longer. Bruce, you have anything you might want to discuss with them by chance?
Well, actually, I do, but I feel like more of us should be involved in that conversation. We did learn some things in our recent trip to the Feywild that I believe we should discuss. I spoke with my brother, and he directed us to the wardens in order to talk about potential paths forward on how to remedy a rather delicate situation, one that you're already familiar with, of course. That being the conflicts across the plains and various things like that. But I guess when would be a good time for us to perhaps as a party, come and speak with you and any other wardens or officials that would be able to help.
Yes, the Grand Conservator took you to the Fae. I assume he'd be interested to hear in the uh, outcomes of that endeavor. He's down in the library. He's usually readily available. Um, it might be good to make an appointment to ensure that he's here, but it's hard for him to go too far. Um,
Is he stuck here? Is he?
you would know this is kind of a sly, catty, ableist joke because the Grand Conservator is in that hovering wheelchair thing.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Then I would just chuckle. Well, then I guess we will. We'll be back. I would imagine if everyone else has an update to provide, and um, I just feel things have gotten quite interesting. So we will be back.
Okay, very well. Uh, I'd be interested to hear about what is going on, but the Grand Conservator, I think, will be able to help you the most with these endeavors. I'll let you know what happens with Nocvispira if they're able to attain the items that you seek.
Right, yeah, and we will definitely update you as well. I feel I'm not the best one to provide that update. Otherwise, I would do it now. I wasn't involved in most of the conversations that took place, and others would be better at informing you of the details.
Very well.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Take our leave. And Silas will teleport to the door.
He'll give you a little bit of a chuckle. Use your abilities. Make them second nature.
Uh, Wait, you teleport to the door? How far away is that?
No idea.
I imagine he would have welcomed you inside, so you're not having this conversation on the stoop. But probably in the entrance, like there'd be like a big staircase, a couple sofas and things around in the entryway where people can relax. I'm kind of thinking of in which one of the I haven't seen all or even most of the Marvel movies, and the one I have seen, I've only seen it like once. But it's one of them where Doctor Strange is in New York, and they're in the place where he gets the cape. It looks like a brownstone, and there's a much bigger place inside. Um, but it's kind of like that, those vibes.
I haven't seen it, but I know what you're referring to.
Okay.
Well, so how far away would you say I'm from the door?
You guys would be probably only like 20 feet away.
Okay.
At most. I mean, it's still being inside a building. Even if it's larger on the inside, it's not very far.
All right. Then I will, when I see, so in essence, you just void walked, right?
Yes, I imagine the outside of the door and I attempted to teleport right there.
Okay. I will cast Dimension Door and just follow you, uh, as if that's how we're traveling now. I won't say anything about it. I'm not doing it to be showy. It's just like, oh, I got to keep up. So I'm just gonna Dimension Door right behind you.
Yeah, that's not a problem for you.
And that's all. Oh, geez, I did not cast it 3 times. I don't know why that happened.
You really want to show him
Are-
up and you go 1,500
Are we
feet.
racing?
No, I just cast it at one time. Cool. And then I guess if we head back, Are we heading back to the penthouse?
Yeah, so you guys went there. Mara went to pay witness. Stella did a shopping trip. Oh, did Justin join? I
Yeah,
do see
he's
him here. He might just be listening in. But Ice Rose and or Luthien, what would you guys be interested in doing on this day if you are both present and interested?
Oh, for crying out loud. I was muted on the computer. I was like, why isn't this working? That explains why everyone keeps talking over me. Yeah. What I was trying to say way, way earlier was Ice went out for an early morning walk because she wakes up a lot earlier.
Okay, yeah, you can absolutely do that.
Can we pick that up next session because it's kind of late and I have an early
Yeah.
class tomorrow?
Yep, absolutely. And I think Justin was just listening in, so if he wants to chime in and do something, that's fine. Otherwise, we'll end it there and we'll pick up next session. Now that I'm having more free time, I have a list of things I need to catch up on and get to you all, and I'll try to do that between sessions.
awesome possum. Thank you, Dan.
All right. Have a good week, everyone.